We finally have Mr. Fantastic revealed with some new exciting gameplay, so I'm going to let the trailer roll and then give you guys a breakdown of all of his abilities and how they exactly work.
That was simple. I've got you. Double the failure. Maximum. Let me return the favor. I'm as strong as Ben. Success.
So first off, his first ability that he has is Elastic Punch. Stretch out a forward punch to attack enemies. It looks very similar to Groot's auto attacks. It could have a delay and be like a projectile, but it looks kind of like hit scan, just like Groot's auto attacks. So it could be the same, but we need a in-person feel for it. Next up is going to be his right click ability called Rubber Grip. Extend arms forward to entangle hit enemies, then press left click to select and yank 2 more enemies. It seems as though this kind of looks like Penny Parker's right click, but the thing is you can pick another enemy with your left click and then smash them together to deal damage to both targets, as well as launching them both in the air and leaving them stunned to get hit by like Hela or someone with a hit scan ability. Like if it's not Doctor Strange, these two guys are probably gonna die if you hit them. The crazy part is this is on a 6-second cooldown, so you can use this multiple times in a fight, even if you miss. Now this next ability is crazy. It's called Reflexive Rubber. Stretch the body to absorb damage before launching store damage in a targeted direction. So not only can this ability block damage like Magneto Shield, Doctor Strange Shield, or even Hulk Shield, but it also reflects the damage back at the enemy. This means if you're playing champions like Iron Man or someone with a huge ult like Namor, you have to be aware that Mr. Fantastic can absorb it and launch it back at you. Although the Iron Man doesn't actually have to hit Mr. Fantastic if he knows this ability is up, so he can just target someone else, but Namor, he has to kind of land it on the enemy. So people are going to really have to think about this ability if it's up or not. Did I also mention it's on a 12-second cooldown, which is really low, and you only have a little window to actually use your Iron Man ult? Select the target and dash at it, dealing damage to enemies and granting bonus health to allies. It's like a dashable, Hulk Protect, and targeted ability. It seems you can have 2 charges of this, and it's a very nice gap closer if you need to get on enemies, or to get out of a sticky situation and dash to your allies. And remember, it has 2 charges, so you can actually dash to your allies twice to give them 2 shields. But from the looks of it, it honestly looks single target shield, so I thought it was originally an AoE shield. It's probably just 1 shield. Oh, and him turning bigger is not a part of this ability, it's actually his passive, but I'll get into that later. You'll notice that when he does use this ability, it does have a relatively medium cooldown, probably like 8 seconds or so. So to charge max stacks, it takes about 16 seconds, or 1 stack is 8 seconds. And then we have his MVP outro, which is him doing a bunch of flips and being elastic. And then here we have Brainiac Bounce his ultimate. Leap and smash, smacking enemies within range. Upon hitting an enemy, leap again up to 6 times. So very unique skill, but I did notice that he doesn't get any survivability or shield out of it. He also seems to pull 2 enemies before he does it, so he can get a nice AoE damage. The AoE is actually very high, as you can see. Yeah, it's super big. They all try and shoot him. It seems to be a weak knockback, or it doesn't hit him after the first knockback, but it does a decent amount of damage. It also leaves you with predictable movement, so you can easily be tracked. So hopefully you have a strategist healing you while you're doing this. I'm gonna be honest, I think it's a weaker ultimate than I did initially think, but we'll have to see if it's actually weak or maybe it's strong. And finally we have his passive, Elastic Strength. Skills generate elasticity, boosting attack power. Reaching full elasticity triggers an inflated state that restores health and boosts even more damage. So that's his passive you see in the previous clip. It's not going to be some ability, it's his passive. By the way, the shield he just got from, I think that's Invisible Woman, is a ton of health, or maybe that's a bonus health coming from this passive, but that's a lot of health. That's like 500 or 600 shield. Remember, there's going to be some gameplay being played by Emaru and XQC and more streamers tomorrow at January 7th. around 12 p.m. Central or something like that. So we'll see more gameplay from them. Now I'm going to give you guys a small breakdown of what Susan Storm's abilities could be. She has a primary fire heal damage, you know, just like Luna Snow, Loki. So it's going to be something similar to them. Grants teammates a wide front-facing shield. She has a knockback tunnel ability. I'm guessing like a force pulse that knocks back enemies in front of her to the left and right side. And a gravity bomb ability, dot damage plus CC. So she has 2 CCs already and a double jump. Her ultimate is a wide ring that heals teammates after the player chooses a deploy location, whatever that means. It sounds like when you cocoon as Mantis, Star-Lord, or Adam Warlock, but that would mean they have a revive. That doesn't make sense. Also, yes, she can go invisible. He just forgot to leak that as well. So invisibility already exists. Loki can do it with his right click. So that's going to be her escape ability when enemies dive her or try to fight her. Human Torch also got a leak, and it was very accurate to what we see right here. Human Torch's left click is going to be Fire Cluster launching a forward splittable fireball. Now, is it going to be some weird Volkos geometry stuff, or is it going to be it hits the target and then it splits into more fireballs? We're not sure, but that's going to be his main projectile primary fire. Next up is going to be a team up with Storm, and he has an active on his X key, Omega Fire. Storm can consume one of Human Torch's fire tornadoes into her ultimate to ignite her hurricane. Likewise, Human Torch can turn Storm's hurricane into a fiery hurricane with his ultimate, which will then enlarge and intensify any of his fire tornadoes caught in its path. Weirdly enough, this does seem like a bonus to his ultimate, but it is on a key, like the X key, so I'm not really sure what's going on here. We'll just have to see what happens in game. The next one is going to be his ultimate, Supernova. Unleash shockwaves to deal damage to enemies within range. During skill activation, the flame field will transform into a flame tornado. Kind of reminds me of Scarlet ult, but probably just producing a bunch of shockwaves around him. Like Thor's ultimate, how it makes a bunch of damage before he ults. Except he does have flame field, so you probably want to throw your flame field before the ultimate to turn them into fire tornadoes. And what's a flame field? Well, that would be his right click button. Launch a fireball to create a flame field at the targeted area. So this ability is going to be insane for choke points. How are enemies supposed to get by this? Who knows? They have to walk through it and take some damage. And the next one is going to be Plasma Body. Hold L shift to enter a state of accelerated ascent. So probably something like Iron Man's flight or even Star-Lord's. Pyro Prison. Connect flame fields to form a firewall that deals burning damage to enemies. So this hero is going to be a very zone control heavy that isn't just throwing fireballs at people, it's going to be very zone control heavy. Now, Flaming Meteor, dive towards the ground and stun nearby enemies. This is interesting as he's probably going to have 250 health and be very squishy, but it does stun them. So I assume it's going to be something like Venom that can just stun enemies instead of knocking them up. But he's going to be right into the enemy, and yes, he's probably going to be a duelist. I'm not sure, a squishy ranged duelist going headfirst into enemy. We'll see if he dies or not. Next up, we're going to be talking about the Thing. Slam Moment Q. This will be his ultimate. Uses Tremendous Force to knock all enemies in front of you into the air. So I'm guessing he slams the ground and everyone's just stunned into the air, so everyone could just shoot him. I'm thinking something similar to Doctor Strange's ultimate, but we'll see what happens. Maybe you can actually move around a bit. The next one is going to be Furious Charge. Continuously charge forward, lifting up enemies in your path, leaving behind a seismic zone that prohibits displacement. I did think this was like Namor's ultimate, where it doesn't allow you to use mobility abilities, but apparently I think it means you just can't be displaced, like Venom diving into you and launching you up, or Magic launching you into air with her E. That's what I think, but this seems like a nerf to some of the champions that might be on your team. Next up is going to be Battle Support E. Jump towards teammates and adds damage reduction to them and yourself. Honestly, this kind of reminds me of Hulk Gamma Shield, but this one seems like you can target your own allies and then give them damage reduction, so we'll see what happens with this one. He is kind of like Hulk in terms of their battle styles in the movies and comics. Next up is going to be his left click combination punch, quick and continuous punches. I feel like this is going to be like Hulk left click, but a bit faster, maybe a lot faster. Next one is going to be Thunderbolt Punch. Deliver a devastating punch through his right click. So it's going to do a lot of damage, just like Hulk's right click, but it's not going to be ranged. It's going to be up close and personal. You'll probably see a left click to right click combo. And he has a passive Solid as Rock, immune to enemy knockback, knockdown, and other displacement effects. So he's actually immune to Namor's ultimate. That actually knocks you down. He's immune to Magic's E combo, which launches you in the air, Venom's diving strike. I think he's even immune to Spider-Man slinging him to him. He's going to be maybe a counter to Thor, as Thor can't even shift him. He's going to be a very interesting character and a counter to some matchups, so we'll see. This is what actually probably makes him different than Hulk. But anyways, that's the ability breakdown for Mr. Fantastic. Let me know what you guys think of this video. Comment below your thoughts, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.
A rousing success.